I think it's a little crooked. Oh, oops, wrong way. Try this again. There we go. That's better. Okay. I think we're ready. Yeah, we're ready now. Hey, everyone. Thanks for coming to the stream. Oops. Welcome, welcome. Who is here in the chat? Let's see. Who do I recognize? Lady Natbug, I think you were first to say hi. Good afternoon from California. A few other people I recognize here. Kai, Jongsby, Flo. Hey, Flo. Someone named I'm Behind You. That is not creepy at all. Just keep checking, just in case. You never know. You never know. Keith, welcome. Okay, Annette. Hey everyone, where are you watching from today? Any new? My voice was like shaking there. Any new viewers? If it's your first time coming to one of my live streams, let me know in the chat. So you know what? This is every time I do these live streams, I drink something that's like slightly caffeinated. I mentioned last time that I went down to the store to buy more of them and they don't exist anymore. Now the only ones that I can find are double the caffeine that this one has. This is about, I think if I drink the whole thing, it's like 60 milligrams, but I usually don't finish the whole thing. But the new ones they have start from 120. So it's too much caffeine for a guy like me who doesn't drink that much caffeine. So this is actually the very last time you'll see me drinking a caffeinated drink like this. I think I'm gonna have to go on to like maybe tea or something else from next week because these are all gone. This is actually my last packet. I threw away the box. It was just the last one sitting in the cabinet. So sad. I don't have any more caffeine drinks that are low caffeine. They just don't want to make caffeine drinks for people who don't actually want caffeine. So weird. Denmark, Turkey, Poland, Los Angeles. Hello, another person from Los Angeles. I'm from Los Angeles. 안녕하세요 from Virginia. Nice. Barry St. Edmunds. Is that Barry or Bury? Or Beery. I don't know. Does it have some funny pronunciation I don't know about? Sometimes that, like, a country that speaks English will have like a city and you'll read it exactly like it's written. They'll be like, ha ha ha, you're not from here, are you? It's like, you wrote it wrong. Just spell it properly and then I'll pronounce it correctly. Welcome, welcome. Texas. Ghost says, I always thought the background was green screen. Well, it's blue screen today. Mexico. Faith says, first time from the UK. Welcome. Yes, Mexico, Hong Kong. We have our viewer watching from France. Kat says, like furry. Okay, so Bury, St. Edmunds. Interesting. Why don't they just spell it like Burrey? Then you'll say it as Bury. Instead, they spell it as berry, the English word berry. I don't know. I didn't name these cities. Hi from Pluto. Okay. Normally, I wouldn't believe someone who says they're watching from Pluto, but Kai's trustworthy. Okay. Isn't it really cold and dark there? I've seen photos. I didn't know you had internet access, though. That's actually what's more impressive. Not that you're on Pluto, but that you've got a pretty good ping watching this live stream. Hello from Iran. Gia says black tea has coffee. Yeah, but I don't like black tea. It's gross. I don't want to drink that. No. I can't have green tea because I have some sort of like, I don't know if it's an allergy or just an oversensitivity to whatever is in green tea that's not in regular tea. There's something about it. It makes me like feel like dizzy. I don't know. It's weird. Does anyone else have this? Like if you drink green tea, it makes you feel like kind of like weird, not like caffeine weird, but like just weird. So I had green tea once and it made me feel like that. I thought it was the caffeine, but then I had it again another day and I had that same thing happen again. That doesn't happen if I just have caffeine. So I don't know. Tani, welcome. Let's see. Hello from Mozambique. Mozambique. I have no idea. Where is that? What's up, Billy from Chicago? Chicago. Hello from Italy. Tijuana, Mexico. I can say that. I can say Mexico. Tijuana, though, is just south of here. So, like, I could go there. I just haven't gone there. Someday I'll go there. I heard, though, it's better not to drive. I heard it's like you want to go to the border and there's like parking lots near the border and you could just park there and then take a bus over or just walk over. I heard that's better than driving since you don't have to wait for the line. So I might do that someday. I want to go to Tijuana for two things. I want to get tacos because, I mean, we have good tacos in LA. Plenty of Mexican people making really good tacos here in LA too. But I want to get the real things. I want to try the real tacos there. And the original restaurant where Caesar salad was invented, it was I believe it was like an Italian immigrant who lived in Mexico. That restaurant is still open. And it's like a fancy restaurant, but when you convert US dollars, it's like dirt cheap. I think it's like $8 for a salad. It comes out really cheap for us. But it's like, you know, fancy high-end restaurant down there. So I want to really try going there. I think that would be cool to try the original Caesar salad restaurant because I heard the restaurant's really good. And of course I want to try the original Caesar salad because Caesar salad's like the bomb. So yeah. Hi from Estonia. Gia says you can add sugar to black tea. Well, then it's still nasty, but now it's sweet. I just don't like it. I just don't like the flavors, okay? Get off my back about black tea. But anyway, I'll find some other drink. Mountain Dew has a lot of caffeine. Yeah, Mountain Dew does have a lot of caffeine. That's why I don't want to drink it. I want something with low caffeine. Hi from India. Kai says, I thrive in the dark. I am all alone, but crafted a satellite to maintain internet access so I can continue working and tuning into live streams. It's crazy that Adobe lets you not work from home, but work from Pluto. That must be a really accommodating company. It's actually a plus for them. We have it in Iran in breakfast. It's called chai shirin. Okay. Mozambique is in South Africa. That's literally all I knew about it. But I don't know anything about it. Like, what is it? What do you have there? Would tourists visit there? Is there like stuff to do? Is there like a special, like a dish or thing to do there or thing to see there? The traffic to drive to Tijuana is crazy. Walking is much faster and sufficient. Okay, yeah, I was thinking about doing that anyway. Tacos in Tijuana are the best. That sounds great. Because here in LA, of course, we can get real tacos, but it's kind of like you have to know where to go. And some places will have great tacos of like one kind, but then their other ones are just okay. I just want to get tacos that are like all good. And of course, I can go to San Diego, which is also, you know, plenty of tacos there too, but still. Lao says, would you ever consider teaching a whole lesson in Korean? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, most of the people who tune into my live streams are, despite the level being today, for example, today the level is advanced. Most people who are going to tune in today, I know this, are beginner level. So even though I'm teaching an advanced level lesson, I keep in mind that there are lots of beginners watching. So I try to make sure that all of my explanations, and this is just a theme across my channel, that I make sure all my explanations are clear, easy to understand, even if you are not at the level to understand what I'm talking about yet. I try to simplify it as much as I can. So for a lesson, if I were to teach it in Korean, it's like, who's going to follow along? I mean, there are other channels who already do that, who teach in Korean. If you want to watch like Koreans who have lessons they teach in Korean. My strength is not teaching in Korean. My strength is teaching in a simple manner in English. So I would actually probably want to practice before I would do something like that. I've taught English in Korean, but I haven't done Korean in Korean on this channel. So yeah, I've thought about it, but I probably, well, at least I don't have any plans to do it. I won't say never, but I don't have any plans. That's why you should sign your soul to Adobe, you say, or you mean contract. Okay. Colin says, booked my flight to Korea today. Cool. When are you going to be there? I'm going to be there too. Maybe maybe I'll see you when I'm there. Mozambique is known for the beaches. Oh, this sounds like a pitch. Mozambique is known for the beaches, diving, wildlife, peri-peri chicken, and having an AK-47 on its flag. That sounds fantastic. That's like, you get the best of both worlds. I like how it just like your description just like goes off a cliff at the end. Peri-peri chicken, that's from Mozambique? I didn't know that. I like peri-peri chicken. In fact, the brand Trader Joe's, I don't know if it's a brand, distributor. Trader Joe's, everyone in California knows this, has a peri-peri chicken sauce. And it's really good. It's like spicy. So you put it on chicken. So anytime if I get like a chicken sandwich somewhere or whatever, I'll open it up and I'll put the peri-peri sauce on top of it. It's really good. It's quite spicy. So I didn't know it's from Mozambique. Cameron says, Billy teaches Korean perfectly by doing it in English. He knows the mistakes we would tend to make, so I'm glad. Well, I know the mistakes I would tend to make, so but yeah, thank you. That's exactly why I do that. August 1st to the 22nd, I'll be in Busan and Seoul. Oh, nice. That's not when I'm going to be in Korea, but August. Oh my goodness. Colin, I hope you are used. I hope you like it doesn't get that hot, but I hope you like humid weather. That's like the worst time to go to Korea for weather. Now, if you expect it and you prepare for it, it's not terrible. You can do stuff. You can still do stuff. But it's not like you're going to, like, don't make plans to just have like strolling in the park, walking in outside of the shade in the middle of the sun for 3 hours straight and looking around, and like make your plans according to the weather. So the weather in the end from the middle of July to the end of July, it starts to get kind of like unbearable for me, for someone who's from LA, it gets really hot here, but it doesn't get humid. So for someone like me, I really just don't plan anything outdoors at the end of July at all. Like if I'm filming a video, it has to be in the shade. Even if it has to be outside, it'll be in the shade 100%. And I won't stay outside for more than like maybe an hour. And then it'll be the thing I do right before then will be something that's indoors, and then right afterward we'll make sure to go somewhere indoors and nice and cool. So you just have to plan differently, but make your plans accordingly. I think you'll still have fun. Yeah, Colin said August is the only time. That's probably why. I figured that was probably why you're going there. It's not like you really have a choice. Yeah, I would just say dress appropriately. So you're not really going to get sunburn if you're not out in the sun that much. It's just that it's humid. So make sure you're drinking lots of water. That's my pro tip for how to survive Korean summers. Stay in the shade because it does get kind of hot. On like the hottest days, it might be like 90 Fahrenheit. It can get up hotter, but typically it doesn't get too hot, but it's the humidity that makes it feel like you're just boiling. So make sure to drink tons of water and then drink extra water. When your body has extra water it doesn't need, you'll sweat more. And I feel like it'll help keep you a little bit cooler. So don't just like drink water to stay hydrated, but like drink too much water. I think that'll help. Yeah, don't put lotion on. Definitely don't do that. And I recommend taking 2 showers a day. Take a shower at nighttime when you go back to your place, so you can like at least relax. Turn on your air conditioner. It does more than just cools down the room. It dehumidifies. Is that the right word? Yeah. It gets rid of all the moisture in the air. That's what originally air conditioners were used for, is getting rid of humidity. So use your air conditioner to get rid of the humidity. Take a shower in the morning and at night. Don't touch your face because you can get, you're going to get breakouts. Just let yourself sweat, but drink extra water. Fisho says, what do you think of Dee Dee's podcast? I did a video on her podcast, as well as other Korean podcasts. Check out my channel. Just search for podcasts. You'll find it. Kai says, my goal is to go to Korea in the May of 2026. Time to save up $3,000 to $4,000. May. Yeah, May's good. May is warm, but it's not hot yet. Lao says, I'm going to be going to Korea August 2025 to July. Oh, wow. You're going to be going for like a whole year. Okay. To teach Dutch at a university. That makes sense. Awesome. Wow. Do you know what university you're going to be teaching at? I knew someone else who was doing that in Korea, actually. Although they weren't teaching Dutch. They were from there, but they were teaching, or no, Denmark? What language do they speak in Denmark? Anyway, but she taught, I believe, economics in Korea while living there for a few years. Kai asks, if I wanted to go for a week, do you think $3,000 to $4,000 is enough? Are you talking about including the airfare, or just for being in Korea? As your trip gets closer, when like, I know I'm going to go this month for this long, and then we can actually check the price. I can check the price of airfare. Check though the airfare prices frequently, because I would say Air Premia, especially, they do sales every now and then, like maybe twice a year, at least once a year or twice a year. They have some sort of crazy sale where it's like 50% off. In fact, that's how I'm going to be going to Korea in May. Is I got my ticket last year. I think I got it in like August or something. They had a special where every plane ticket was 50% off. So I bought my ticket for the next year last summer. So I was able to save quite a bit of money by doing that. So keep checking the price frequently. And when you go, makes a huge difference on the price you pay. Like, for example, if you were to go to Korea, like right now, you could get a ticket for like $400, $500 to go to Korea. I'm not kidding. At least from LA. If you wait and then you go like 2 months later, then it like triples. So it really depends on when you go. But once you know, like, I really want to go this week to this week, that's the only time I have, I'm going to be this many days in Korea, then we can get like, I can tell you exactly how much it costs. But as far as like, besides the plane flight, I don't know if you're afraid of planes, besides the plane flight, besides the ticket for that, you don't need that much money to enjoy Korea. It's really like, what do you want to do? How much fun do you want to have in Korea? How many things do you want to do? That will determine how much money you need to bring, because you can get away with being in Korea on really for a really, really small amount of money. Like if you just stay at a small Airbnb that doesn't have its own, like you don't have your own kitchen in there, it's just a bed and a bathroom and that's it. Those rooms, especially in like less popular areas of Seoul, those rooms are like 15 to 20 bucks a night max. Like you can really stretch out, like, so that's, you know, $100 for 5 days. Like, okay, there's your room. You know, if you want to eat cheap, you don't have to go to a convenience store. There are other places you can get cheap food in Korea, get a whole meal for like $6, right? Or less, you know, in US dollars. So considering you're eating like, including like snacks, you have like 2 meals and you're paying less than 20 bucks a day. You can go in Korea, you can be really cheap. You can be really frugal in Korea if you want. So we'd have to kind of talk about that more, what things you want to do. Obviously, I'm not saying you can travel in Korea for a week for only $200, you know, $100 for food and $100 technically, but you don't want to do that. Like, why do that? You could just not. Just stay in your home and save money on the flight. So we'd have to kind of talk about what types of things you like to eat, what things you like to do, and then we can plan out, okay, well, you're going to need this much for transportation each day, this much for food, this much for souvenirs if you want, this much for activities you're doing, you know, this much for all of those things. Jonesy says, heading to LA for J-Hope concert next week. Even get to stay in Koreatown. Any restaurant recommendations? Well, there is Agassi Gopchang, which is the restaurant that BTS went to in LA. I've never been there. I believe that it's a Korean barbecue restaurant called Agassi Gopchang. I don't know the English name. I think it's probably Agassi Gopchang or something like that. You can search it on Yelp, but that's the restaurant that BTS went to. I think they have like a picture of the members sitting at the table where they sat. So you could probably even sit where they sat if you want. Got a new eraser. I have to buy new erasers though. I've gone through my whole pack now, so I'll probably order some of those tonight. I only have like 2 left. Okay, we'll start the live stream in just a few minutes. Before we start though, I just want to remind everyone that there is an active Discord if you're not already a member of my Discord channel. I'll share it in the chat. I was about to say you're in Korea right now? Oh yeah. Last year. Lau posted the address for Agassi. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's Agassi Gopchang. That's right. Colin says the Koreans survive the weather in the summer. Yeah, they survive because they don't sweat through the same glands that we do. Colin. It's not a... Sorry, I didn't mean it like Colin. They have different sweat glands than us. Most of them do. Not everyone. You can't say Koreans don't sweat under their arms because Koreans do. Koreans don't grow facial hair. Some of them do. Typically, though, they don't have as many sweat glands under their arms like we do in the US. For our genes, we sweat a lot under our armpits. So that means we feel miserable when it's sweaty. You know, it's not just our body getting sweaty. That's not the biggest problem. It's that you smell, right? Like, let's be honest, okay? When we sweat, we kind of smell. Koreans don't have that problem as much. Of course, Koreans can smell when they sweat too, but they smell like sweat. They're not going to smell like, you know, because they don't have it in the areas that will grow the type of bacteria that will smell more. So it's not as big of an issue. Also, a lot of Koreans I've found are more sensitive to cold weather than to hot weather, but that's just a guess. Like, this might be an older Korean type of thing. So you might find people wearing like jackets or hoodies when the weather is like what you might consider perfect, like nice and cool. To them could be, oh, it's a tiny bit chilly. Better, you know, bundle up so you don't get a cold. That's sort of a different mentality how they treat the temperatures. So just because Koreans are fine during the summer doesn't mean you're going to be totally fine during the summer. They might be like, oh, it's hot. You know, let's drink some hot soup to help feel better. And you're like, dude, I'm like dying. Give me something cold. So it's just a different culture. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say is that there is no live class next Sunday. Instead, next Sunday, and I'll make a post about this tomorrow, so pay attention for it. Next Sunday, I'm going to be doing a Korean language hotline. It's going to be something new. I've never tried it before, but next Sunday, I'm going to be doing a hotline where you can call in and record a message. Actually, you record a message and you can send it to my email. That's how it's going to work. You don't really call, but you can record a message, send it to my email, record it through your phone or whatever, and I might play your question live during the live stream this next Sunday, and I'm going to be answering some questions. So you can send in your questions early. If you email me and make the subject of the email Korean language hotline, and I'm going to go through a bunch of questions. I'm not going to do everyone because I don't think there's going to be time, but I'm going to be going through some questions and answering them live, just like a hotline, like a call center. So we're going to have like a Korean language hotline for next Sunday, but it's not going to be a class. It'll just be something different. So yeah, I'll make a post about that tomorrow, but if you already know you want to participate, you can feel free to email me your questions in audio format. And then next Sunday, I'll also take questions next Sunday if you don't know if you want to do it yet live, but if there are already a bunch of them that are sent in throughout the week, there won't be time. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing for next Sunday. So it should be kind of fun. Yes, like a Q&A. Cameron says, my wife's Korean. She bundles her kids up like they're going to Siberia and it's warm outside. Yeah, I remember like in May a few years ago, like you would see Koreans just wearing coats. Like it's warm outside, but there's a nice breeze, right? So you might feel, nice breeze. And for Koreans, like especially kind of the older generation, they might think, oh, it's cold. You know, cold equals you're going to get a cold. Better make sure you're warm. And then there is another thing that is common with the older generation. So I'd say people that are over, let's be kind. Let's say people that are over 40, right? That can't offend anyone. So people that are over 40 for the older generation, they have this philosophy that if the weather's hot, that you combat that, not by having cold, but by having hot foods and spicy foods. So there's a longer explanation of that we won't get into because we don't have any time for today before I have to start the lesson right now. But it's kind of the fight fire with fire mentality. And so you'll see people that it's like a hot day and they'll be drinking like hot tea or eating hot soup to feel less hot. I guess the idea is like you make yourself sweat and that makes you feel cool when you're hot. So you eat spicy food and you eat hot soup. Just be aware that if you see someone doing that, they're not crazy. That's just a more traditional type of Korean thing. And I don't know if it's only Korea. It might be China or Japan as well. I'm not sure. Okay. Donation made via PayPal, says Kai. Okay, I have to check this. Hold on, can I make my screen? Can I make this? This remote still doesn't work. Cameron! Wait. I mean, Blammering. Is there a Blammering? I just got, hold on, I got 2 donations just now. Hey, first of all, I have to do this one first. Kai was our first sponsor for today. Thank you so much, Kai. And you have a little message. I'm going to read that. You say, thanks for everything. As usual. Thank you, Kai. Although if you keep donating to me, when are you going to save up your $3,000 to $4,000 to go to Korea, huh? Have you ever thought about that? Please don't think about that. My beginner self is not qualified for this class today, but we wanted to still make sure to donate. Thank you. You'll still get something out of today. I will be back later to cash out my dabs and ask probably some Korean questions. You're more than welcome to. Thank you, Kai. And I also got a donation from someone named Blammering Betzler. I don't know if there is a Blamerin Betzler in the chat, but he just donate, or she. I don't want to assume. If your name is Blamerin, I don't know anything about you. Blamerin sent a $100 donation. It's ridiculous. Blamerin, if you are out there, I don't know who you are, but Blamerin, someone's saying Cameron. No, it's Blamerin, I'm sure. It's Blamerin Betzler. That's what they said. If you're out there, Blamerin, thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate it. And if you want, you can cash out dabs, or it's up to you. Okay, but I need to get started with the lesson first. So we're going to be doing the most difficult, the most intense, advanced level lesson you have ever seen before on this channel. So let me tell you how our form works. I hope you're ready for this. So we're going to be talking about something called kaunde. Write this down. It's got a really difficult definition. It means the middle. That's it. Yeah. So I lied. It's not really difficult. The word kaunde is just a noun that means middle, or you can translate it as like among. Like, did you play that game? Uri kaunde? Among Us? I don't think they call it that. Yeah. So it just means in the middle or in the center of something. So like you're among something, or it's among, like among two or more things, in that sort of meaning, among. For example, if you have one thing here and one thing here, then kaunde is here. So it's just among something. There are other things around it. It's in the middle of it. So that's what kaunde means. And there are other words that mean middle, but they are a little bit different in how they work. They don't mean necessarily among something. So that's what kaunde means. And that's really all it is. Oh, hold on. We got a new member, M. June. Thank you. Welcome, M. June. And we have another donation, Lexica, for minute 7. It's just such a random number, Lexica. Why did you get that number? I mean, I guess it's lucky, right? Lucky number 7. There's just enough room for Lexica right above the illustration there. Thank you, Lexica. And you wrote a message. You said, happy day 89 for those who are counting down. Oh, is that until the BTS concert? Did they announce the date for that? I think they did, right? Yeah, I just know it's going to be when I'm in Korea this year. He needs Venmo. I do have a Venmo, but yeah, Cameron points out your name's really familiar to the person who donated, but just saying that, unrelated. You say if you donate on my website, he keeps more of the money. That's true, but I mean, it's fine because YouTube hosts the content, so I think it's okay either way. I do have a Venmo, but it's in like my full middle and last name and everything like that. So I never really use it. So I just use PayPal, which is easier. In Hong Kong, they say it's a bad idea to drink cold beer on a hot summer day. Yeah, they say it's the same thing in Korea as well. It might come from the same concept, but in Korea, during the summertime, if I would try to drink like ice water, right? Because it's hot. So I would make ice water and people would scold me and say, you shouldn't do that. It'll hurt your stomach. Where are you getting these ideas, mister? I heard that a lot. I heard that more than once. No, if you're wondering, no, it does not. But that's a common belief among the older generation that having cold things when your body's hot can shock your system and make you either like get sick or can mess up. What they think it does messes up your internal body temperature, which can make you sick. No, it doesn't, but that's kind of a belief. So if you're going to do that, if you want to have cold water, just do it by yourself. Go off into a corner where no one can see you and pour your ice water and then come back out and say, that was some nice hot tea I just had. The water's all condensing around the outside because it was so hot. And then they'll be like, haha, you are one of us. So we're going to be learning a grammar form that uses kaunde today. But first, let's just talk about how the word itself is used. So I'm going to give you an example sentence. Not 동그라미. That's a different word, actually. 동그라미 가운데에 앉았어요. So it has, like I said, two main meanings: the middle of something or among something. So first, let's talk about how it can mean in the middle of something, as in like in the middle or the center of something. So 동그라미 is a circle. 동그라미 가운데, in the middle of the circle or in the center of the circle. So you have a circle here and you're somewhere here. 에 for the location, 앉다 to sit down. So 앉았어요. I sat down. 동그라미 가운데에, in the middle of the circle. So I sat down in the middle of the circle. This, when it's being used to mean middle or center, can also be replaced by the word 중간. So you could have also said 동그라미 중간에 앉았어요, and it has the exact same meaning when it's being used to mean the middle or the center of something. I'll leave this up for just a second, and then I'm going to give you another sentence. Full name, William Go Korean. Yes, my last name. No. Korean is my middle name. So it's William Korean Go. Yes, it's very difficult. Every year I have to renew my passport. The worker's always like, your middle name is what? It's Korean. It used to be Danger, but I changed it. Exploring K says, but they are drinking iced Americanos. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. You can't point out the hypocrisy. It doesn't count because it's got sugar. I think it's Wilford. It's Wilford. It's actually Wilford, I'll tell you that. Let's see. We want to support you as much as possible, Billy. Thank you, Kai. I do appreciate it, though. The board might need to be moved back. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I can move it back a little bit. That better? Okay, let me just refocus. Make sure we're still focused here. Okay. 동그라미 가운데 앉았어요. So I sat in the middle of the circle. Now, let me give you another example. Don't mind these. These are made by Jeremy. Man, this eraser's all squeaky. Okay. Let's see, do I have space? No, I'm writing too big, but whatever. I have to read. This is I wrote way too big. Okay. 다섯 is five. 다섯 가운데. So among five whatever, among these five, 하나, one, 하나를 선택하세요. So choose. 선택하다 is to choose. So choose one among these five. Now, here it means among, as in there are multiple options. So it's not only like in the center of something, it's more like it's being surrounded by things, and it's something among things, in which case this can be used. So that's how this can be used as meaning both middle of or among. And when it's used to mean among, you could replace it with the word 중. So you could say like 중에, 다섯 중에 하나를 선택하세요. 중에 means in the middle also. So you could use 가운데, or you could use 중에 for this sort of usage. You wouldn't use 중간 though, because 중간 is the actual middle of something, literally, whereas 중 is just middle figuratively or literally. So yeah, it has both of those meanings. 다섯 가운데 하나를 선택하세요. So pick one among or out of these 5. Okay, I'll leave this up on the board just for a second. This is how it's used regularly as a noun. So in this case, it's a postposition, basically just a preposition that comes after the noun. But there's nothing special about it. That's it. So then, if that's all that this word is, why is today's lesson marked as advanced? Well, because you can use this same word as a grammar form. If we use the word 가운데, which I said means among or in the middle of, how could that be a grammar form? Does anyone want to make a guess without already knowing? If you don't already know what it is, why don't you try making a guess or just think about it for a few seconds? Hey, Slobo Guitar. And Savan, new member, welcome. Anyone have any ideas? Present tense? Nope. I get why you're thinking that though, like something is doing something. So like maybe you're currently among doing something, but no. In the middle of something happening? Yeah. Cosma, you're actually pretty close to what it is. Okay, so. If you use 가운데 after a verb, this can mean that something happens among some sort of situation, meaning something happens while something else happens. So 가운데 can be used to mean kind of literally while something happens. You're saying among this sort of verb happening, among it being whatever's happening. So you can say like maybe among someone's diet, even among their diet, they could not give up eating chicken. Like in that sort of sense, it means among, but you wouldn't translate it as among anymore. You could translate it as while. So the way that this works is you take a verb and you can conjugate it into an adjective, either in the present tense or the past tense if it's an action verb. So like the action verb 하다, to do. The present tense would become 하는, right? The past tense adjective would be 한. Now, if you don't know this already, this is like a beginner concept, but if you don't know that topic, I released cheat sheets just a few weeks ago for how to change descriptive verbs and action verbs into adjectives in all tenses. And the cheat sheets are completely free. You can get them right now, or just go straight to my Patreon page. They're free. They're in the free tier. You don't have to pay any money for these, but they have all the rules. So that's all this is, the exact same thing. You change a verb, an action verb, into a past tense or present tense adjective. So like that. Or if it's an adjective, you just change it to the present tense as a verb. As an adjective. So if we take the adjective, for example, 바쁘다, to be busy. 바쁘다 would normally just become 바쁜. And that's it. 하는 가운데. 한, past tense, 가운데. 바쁜 가운데. That's how this works. So the way to make the form, that's it. Verb into an adjective. If it's an action verb, it can be present or past tense. If it's a descriptive verb, it should be present tense. And you're done. So what does this mean? This This can translate as while, but then how is this form any different from the other forms that mean while, like 면서 or 동안 or 다가 or like 100 other forms? Well, this form is used to talk about something that happens in a situation. So there's something actually going on. This is not like while you brush your teeth, you took a shower. This is more for talking about something that's actually like going on in your life, like an actual happening. Literally, because 가운데 means like middle or among, right? This literally means in the middle of a situation. So in the middle of something that's actually going on, like in the middle of some sort of situation, something happens. So you can translate it as while, or like while something continues to happen, right? Because it's a situation. It's not like doing it once. It's not like while I did my homework, I wrote an email. It's not something that's just happening once. It's like a situation, something that's kind of ongoing. That's how you can do something among that situation. So it's not going to be something that's really quick whatever it's talking about. It's going to be some sort of actual situation that takes some time. So, and it'll make a little more sense once I tell you the next thing, like why would I want to use this over the other forms? This form I really don't like it. It's like super squeaky. Okay. This form is most often just used in writing, although it can be used in speech. It's most often just used in writing. And it has a very formal feel to it. It sounds like you are trying to speak formally. It does not sound like a regular form you're going to be using in your everyday speech. So you would probably never see 가운데 paired with like slang or casual speech just because it has a more formal, fancy feeling to it. You might hear it used in a speech. You probably could hear it used in like an official speech, or most often it's just going to be some sort of formal writing, maybe like a formal announcement. Like, we gather here today to open up the new noodles restaurant. Among all of your busy schedules, you have gathered here today to participate in this glorious... It has the kind of fancy feeling like that. So I'm not saying it's not used. It is used fairly often, but only in formal situations. Okay, you now know everything you need to know to use this form. It means while, it's used for something that's happening in a situation. So like while a situation is continuing, something goes on, and it's formal and most often just used in formal writing. So let's do an example sentence. And I think it'll make more sense once you've seen some examples. Let's see, can I use green? Okay. That's too light. See. Talk about this one. There's a little bit different here. 할 수 없대요. Okay. 영희는, so 영희 is just our friend 영희, so a girl. 영희는 다이어트를 하다, to diet. 다이어트를 하는 가운데, don't look at this yet. 하는 가운데. So among, doing a diet. So a diet is the situation that's going on. And among that situation, while she's dieting, 치킨은. So chicken, the topic marker just adds more emphasis on that. chicken, 포기하다 is to give up. 포기할 수 없어요, cannot give up. In this case, 돼요 is just a quoting ending. So she says she cannot give up chicken while dieting. So while her diet's going on, the situation of her diet is going on. So while she's dieting, she says she cannot give up chicken. There's one more thing in this sentence, though, I've been covering, and that is the particle 도. So what does adding 도 do to any noun or anything in Korean? Well, 도 has the meaning of, this has the meaning of even or also or to, right? Like 저도, me too. 가운데, among, also. So also among or even while. Even while dieting. This form 가운데 is frequently, though it doesn't have to be, it's frequently used together with the particle 도 to mean even while. So even while something happens, even while someone does something. And that's a very common way this form gets used. So even while Young-hee is on her diet, she says she cannot give up chicken. Chicken is pretty good. Young-hee는 다이어트를 하는 가운데도. So even while 치킨, just more emphasis, chicken, 포기할 수 없대요. She says she can't give up chicken. 영희는 다이어트를 하는 가운데도 치킨은 포기할 수 없대요. Even while Young-hee is dieting, she says that she can't give up chicken. I'll leave this up for just a minute so you can write it down and think about it. And then we're going to go over five more sentences using this form. But that's the form. I know this is an advanced form, but that's it. There is nothing else to this. It's pretty simple. He says 는 중. Yeah, 는 중 will be in the middle of dieting, though. That has a different nuance. It's also not formal. Mary says, it's my first time watching you live. Nice. I'm just going to catch up on some comments during this quick break. 비가 오는 가운데 경기가 계속됐어요. I need lessons in how to print the cheat sheets. You can just right click and do print. You can also go online and convert the image into a PDF if that's easier, and then print it as a PDF. You can drag and drop it into Microsoft Word as an image. You can just open it in your any image viewer and click print from the file menu, anything like that. You can right click it and open in Chrome and then print the Chrome page like that, or whatever browser you use. You can open it on a phone as an image and click print. It'll print any way you print it. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. It'll print any way you want. M. June says, in the midst of. Yes! In the midst of is another way. In the midst of her diet, she says, though she can't, even in the midst of her diet, she said she can't give up chicken. That's another good way to translate it. Incorporeal says, like a higher level while. Yeah, it's a higher level while. Yep. Flo says donation made via PayPal. What? Florid Purdy. Thank you. It just shows your name. It doesn't show a message, Flo. You got to send me a message. How am I supposed to react when you don't send me a message to read? Did you ever think about that? Thank you, Flo. Send me a message. I want to read something. Let me give you the next sentence while Flo is hopefully typing something. Okay, here we go. Next sentence. 가운데에도 3년째 봉사 활동을 하고 있어요. I think it is. Yep, yep. Okay. Flo says Flo is short for the full name. Oh, okay. I didn't know if it's like isn't the Progressive Insurance girl named Flo also? Am I getting that wrong? What's the Progressive Insurance person's name? Yeah, it is Flo. It is Flo. Is that you? Is that you in the commercials, Flo? Be honest. You say bottom of the hour just to say thanks. Thank you. Okay. Next sentence is 저는. So I 바쁘다, to be busy. 바쁜 가운데도, even while I am busy. So when you use 가운데, it means like something's going on, like there's a situation. That's the nuance you get. It's not like I'm busy right now for a second. It's like I've been busy. It's been going on a bit. So I'm very busy and I've been busy and I'm going to be busy from now on as well. It's just this big bubble of busyness. And in the midst of that, among that, even among being busy, so even while I'm busy, 3년째, for the third year, 째 is used for counting time, like the specific time of that, like the second year, the third year. I have a separate lesson about that if you search my channel for 째. So for the third year, 봉사 활동. 봉사 is service, 활동 is activity. So this is like doing service activities, or literally that, but this is how you would say volunteer work. So 하고 있어요. So I've been doing volunteer work. This is now the third year, even though I'm busy. So like I'm busy all the time, but even while being busy, this is my third year of doing volunteer work, is what it means. 저는 바쁜 가운데도 3년째 봉사 활동을 하고 있어요. Even while I'm busy, I've been doing volunteer work now for 3 years. 저는 바쁜 가운데도 3년째 봉사 활동을 하고 있어요. So do you get how 가운데 is used? You can kind of imagine there's like a bubble of something going on and you're right in there in the middle of that happening, that situation. So it's used for those sorts of things. You're not just going to say, again, it's not just going to be like something that happens really quick and while you do that, you do something else. It's like something going on, a situation. But as long as it's a situation, you can just translate it as while. And note that it has 도 often, even while, to add emphasis. That's the form. Really, we're going to do a few more examples, but that's it. This is not that hard, right? It's advanced because it's uncommon. It's not advanced for being difficult at all. Like, this is beginner level if you know how to conjugate verbs. Now, the sentences I'm going to give you after this, some of them are a little more difficult. Like the next one is a little harder. So let me give you the next one. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Flo says, yes, I dress up as Flo from Progressive. You do not. Do you? You do not. Do you? You do not. Do you? That'll be really cool. Did anyone else watch, is anyone else watching Severance? Totally unrelated to Korean, I know, but. Uh-oh, I ran out of space. I gotta rewrite this. I ran out of space. This sentence is too long. Okay, I'm gonna try again. This time I'll really get it. Sorry about that. 관심이 쏠리고 있어요. Okay, this is a longer sentence. Apologies if it's too complicated. This is actually more of an advanced level sentence, I guess. 용의자는, so the suspect, 무죄, literally 무 is none, 죄 is sin or guilt, so no guilt, innocence. 주장하다 is to claim. So 주장한, past tense, 한, 가운데. So among the suspect's claiming of innocence, so even though the subject, not even though, but while the suspect claimed innocence, 새롭다 is to be new, 새로운 증거 is evidence, so new evidence, 공개되다. 공개 is revealed. 공개되어 is revealed. So there's new evidence that's revealed, and 되어 is just 돼. You can also write it like this. 관심 is interest. 관심이 쏠리다 is to draw attention, to attract attention. So 쏠리고 있어요. So 관심이 쏠리고 있어요. It is attracting, it is gathering, it is drawing attention because new evidence is being revealed while the suspect claimed their innocence. 용의자는 무죄를 주장한 가운데 새로운 증거가 공개되어 관심이 쏠리고 있어요. So while the suspect claims their innocence, new evidence is revealed and is drawing attention. So it's a longer sentence. But if you don't want to look at the whole sentence, just focus on the part that we're doing for today. 주장하다 is to claim, like to state something. So they were claiming, in this case, 한 is past tense. So among them claiming innocence, everything else happens. 용의자는 무죄를 주장한 가운데 새로운 증거가 공개되어 관심이 쏠리고 있어요. Courtney says, I'm struggling with making longer sentences. Well, I have a new course coming out, maybe in May. Hopefully I can finish it before I go to Korea. I have a new course about sentence connectors. Flo says, yes, I do. That's pretty cool. Do you look like Flo? That would be cool if you look like Flo. 꽤 쉬워요. 진짜 머리를 위해 일관성을 유지하세요. Okay. What's that word? Consistency. Maintain consistency using your head. I'm not sure what it is you're trying to say, Vamp. Okay. That was a longer sentence. They're not all that long. Okay, next one. 날씨 될 것으로 예상돼요. Okay. Okay, this sentence again is a little bit long, but it's okay. Just focus on the 가운데 part if you're not quite at this level. 내일은, tomorrow, 가끔, sometimes, 비가 내리다 is to rain. So 비가 내리는 가운데. Again, in the middle of a situation, in this case, it's going to be raining before and after this happens. But in the middle of it, so while it's happening, while it's raining, 비가 내리는 가운데, while it's raining tomorrow, sometimes, 시원하다 is to be cool, like refreshingly cool. 시원한 날씨, cool weather, 될 것, will be cool weather. 되다 is to become, to be. 것으로, as, so it's 예상되다. 예상 is to be expected. So 예상돼요. It is expected to be as, so literally it is expected as being cool weather tomorrow among, literally, so while it sometimes is raining. 내일은 가끔 비가 내리는 가운데 시원한 날씨 될 것으로 예상돼요. Tomorrow is expected to be cool weather while it will rain occasionally. So this would be like something you might hear on a weather report. 내일은 가끔 비가 내리는 가운데 시원한 날씨 될 것으로 예상돼요. Like that. I don't know. I don't really watch the weather report on the news much, so I'm not sure what voice they would do it in, but something like that. 내일은 가끔 비가 내리는 가운데, so while it's going to be raining, sometimes, tomorrow, 시원한 날씨, cool weather 될 것으로 예상돼요. It is expected as being, the weather will be cool while it's raining sometimes, yes, while it's raining sometimes tomorrow. Okay. So yeah, tomorrow is expected to be cool weather while it will rain occasionally. I'll leave this up for just a second and then I'll go on to our next sentence. Cosma said, I expected this form to be much more difficult. Well, the sentences that it gets used in can be quite difficult because it's a formal grammar form. But yeah, the form itself is like really simple, right? It's just a noun. You just stick adjectives onto nouns. There's nothing special about it except that it's used as a grammar form. I'd say most Korean is like this. Most Korean grammar forms are very simple pieces that are just stuck together. And then you look at it and you're like, wow, it doesn't make any sense. What does it mean? But it's like, they're like stupid simple. Okay. Let me just give you the next sentence. Okay. Let's switch colors. Let me see. Can I do... as a person, I can't do that color. Never mind. I'll just keep using blue. Oh, wait, no. Let's do black. I haven't used this black one in a while. 요거는 가운데 바지를 주고 받았어요. Okay, this sentence, I'm not going to translate the final sentence. I want you to translate it, but I'm going to give you some words so you can help you translate it. 우리, us, of course, 부모님, parents, 친구, friends, 지켜보다. 지켜보다 means to to watch over. 지켜보다. 지키다 is to keep or to protect. 보다 is to watch. So like you're watching over, right? You're protecting it, but we would just say watch over. 가운데. 가운데, again, is our word we've been doing. 반지 is ring. 주고받다. Actually, there shouldn't be a space here. Let me write this again. It's supposed to be one. It's used as one word. 주고받다 is to literally to give and receive. So you would say like exchange, as in like exchange, not as in like you bring back your broken product to exchange it, but as in you're giving something and getting something, you're exchanging it. So what does this sentence mean? Can you give it your best shot? Try to translate this into English as naturally as you can. Okay, I'm not going to read them out loud. I don't want to give you the answers. I'm just going to look at them in the chat. Keith, why did you add my precious to the end of your sentence? What does that have to do with anything? It's not the one ring. It's one of the other rings that were forged to deceive them. It's not the one ring. Okay, I'm just reading them in my head because I don't want to spoil it for anyone else who's trying to do it themselves. Ooh, yes. 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 So, several that are really good. So also, what is the situation of this sentence? What's going on? What is happening? Like, where are these people? Yes. Of course, we read that, precious. In a wedding? Yes. It's a wedding. Exactly. I do. Rivendell? Yes. Sure. 결혼식. Yes, Valeria. A wedding. Yes, Flo. Yeah, it is exchanging rings at a wedding. 우리는, us, we, 부모님, parents, 부모님과 친구, parents and friends, 친구들, 지켜보다, to watch over. Again, it's 지키다, to protect, 보다, to see, so it's to watch over. 지켜보는 가운데. So while watching over us, our parents and our friends, so that's going on. Our parents and our friends are watching over us. So while that happens, 반지 is ring. My precious. 반지를 주고받다. Literally 주다 and 받다. 주고받다. To give and to get. So this is exchanging. So we exchanged rings while our parents and friends watched over us. So this would be at a wedding. 우리는 부모님과 친구들이 지켜보는 가운데 반지를 주고받았어요. So, while our parents and friends watched, we exchanged rings. How romantic. And then one of them turns invisible and bites the other one's finger off, right? So romantic. Okay, so let's do one more sentence. Okay. see here. Alexi says, you're appalled by my Gollum impersonation. It's not Gollum, precious. It's Smeagol. 엄마는, mom, 정신없이. 정신없다 is to be like really stressed, to like, you're not able to focus. And it's an adverb. 이사를 하다, to move, like to move to a different house. 이사를 하는 가운데. So among moving houses, even 가운데도. So even while moving, 정신없이. Can't focus, just stressful. So like stressfully moving. So even in the stress of moving homes, kind of like that. 앨범. So the album, a photo album. 챙기다. 챙기다 is to pack in this case, like to make sure to bring it. 챙기셨나 봐요. I guess it seems like mom packed the album even while in the stress of moving houses. Even while in the stress of moving to another house. 엄마는 정신없이 이사를 하는 가운데도 앨범을 챙기셨나 봐요. So, I guess mom packed the photo album even while in the stress of moving home. Even while in the stress of moving. So even though she was stressed while moving, that sort of meaning. It's a little difficult to translate, but you get the idea. So moving is going on. You're moving, doing all this stuff. Before you were doing it, after you're going to be doing it, it's just a big deal. And in the middle of that, among all of that stress, she still managed to bring the album. While frantically moving, mom managed to pack the album. That kind of meaning. Yeah. Again, just keep in mind that 가운데 implies that it's among something. So it's not just like one quick thing happening, but it implies something's going on for a while. 엄마는 정신없이 이사를 하는 가운데도 앨범을 챙기셨나 봐요. That's it. Now, if you want more sentences to practice with, there is a worksheet you can get from my Patreon page, which has an additional, I think 7 additional sentences that you can practice, maybe 7 or 8. And they're even longer than the ones we did today and more complicated. But that's why I didn't put them in here, because they would have been too long to translate, take too much board space. But there's more if you want on the worksheet. All of the Patreon members can get access to that right now, as well as you can get this actual outline that I have here, minus the typo, which I have to fix. You can get this outline as well for my Patreon page completely for free if you're already on my Patreon, which costs money, but it's free if you've paid. Yes. So next Sunday, there is no class, but what I'm going to be doing for next Sunday is a Korean language hotline, a help hotline. So I'm going to post this tomorrow, but you can send in your questions early if you want. Record yourself asking a question in any audio file. Send it to my email, and you might get featured in the next week's class, the live stream. Or if you don't know yet, you can try to send a audio recording live during the live stream, and I might listen to that and put it on the live stream if I think it's okay, if I have time. But if there's too many that come during this week, then I won't have time. I'll just do it. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, next week I'm planning to do something like that. But there won't be a regular class for next week. And then after that, we'll have all new voting options. If you have a topic that you want me to cover in a live stream, make sure to make your suggestion in advance before next Monday. That way I can put it on the upcoming vote. So otherwise, I'm just going to pick some more topics if you don't suggest anything. There's still lots of advanced topics that we can cover. And that is our class for today. That's everything about using 가운데. Let me do a quick thumbnail though. I see someone asked, can Jeremy read the questions next week? No, Jeremy's not going to be reading the questions next week. At least I don't know. I mean, he could. I just didn't really think about it. He usually is busy during these live streams. This is when he uses his tablet. This is his screen time, which is intentional. That way he doesn't distract me during these live classes. When he was younger and I was doing these live classes, he would like literally be downstairs just like singing or like playing keyboard really loud. So we had to be like, no, Jeremy, now is the time when you use your tablet. That way you don't bother daddy during his live streams. But now he's old enough not to do that, but it's still kind of stuck. This is his screen time on every Sunday when I do these live streams. Oh yeah, let me do a, we take a thumbnail picture. I think that's good. Keith says, please do a lesson with Chuck. Did I not do a lesson about Chuck? Like 하는 척, 하는 채? Have I not done a class about that? Okay, I'll write it down. If I already did it though, I'm not going to do it again as a live stream. But if I didn't do it yet, yeah, I can do that as a suggestion. 척, and then also 채 is used in the same way. Like acting like something. I'm pretty sure you don't mean 척 as in the counter for boats, because that's a really short lesson. It's the counter for boats. 한 척, 두 척, like that. Sorry, not Keith. Paul. I did a screenshot of them. Kat says. Okay. Elsa says, Bill, you're always live at like 10 p.m. in my country. I apologize. For me, I go from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in my country. Oh, did we finish? We finished before 3. Wow. Wow. I'm going to stick around for like 30 minutes and take questions. 빌리 선생님, 우리에게 이렇게 많이 가르쳐서 고마워요. 다음 라이브를 기대할게요. Nice. Thank you. 한국어를 가르쳐줘서 감사합니다. 구경하다가 가는 한국인. Nice. Nice입니다. Alexis says, can you do me a favor? Can you imitate Gollum while speaking Korean? You have to give me the dialogue to say, because I don't have his quotes. I don't have his lines up on the computer. So if you give me a dialogue line, maybe send me like $1 as a donation to tempt me, then I think we can get Gollum speaking in Korean. But yeah, you'll have to give me those two, because I don't remember a lot of his lines. Like, you can give me the line in English, but I don't remember the full lines. I only know like really short snippets. Keith says, for next week, you want specific grammar questions? Any questions. So it'll be a Korean language hotline, and I'm going to be answering the questions, and it's all going to be live. So I'm not really going to be able to prepare anything in advance. It's just going to be like, I'll listen to them, make sure, we don't get any trolls. I don't expect it, but it's always possible. Just to make sure there's anything like that. And then I'm just going to play it and just listen to the question live and answer it live. So it'll be just like you're calling into a hotline. You'll see. Anyway, I'll make a post about it as well tomorrow. But if you want a head start, feel free to email them to me. Just record it on your phone if you want. Elsa says, what's curly hair in Korean? Like, I want to be able to say, I have curly hair. Well, you can use 곱슬머리. Just double check my spelling of that, because I know a lot of people actually say it with a double. Yeah, 곱슬. Okay, just double checking it. That's one way you can say it. Michelle says October. Alexa says, next live, I will give you donations. Sorry. No, I don't work for future donations. 감사해요. 좋은 하루 되세요. Nice. Exploring K. BBY Luna says, would you ever want to do a webtoon read through including cultural references? Yeah, that would sound fun. I wouldn't be able to do something like that though due to copyright. So unless it's my own webtoon that I commissioned, I wouldn't have the copyright to read someone else's live. If you're a small YouTuber, you could probably get away with it, but my channel being larger would have more eyes on it. It's possible that the person who wrote it could see it and would be like, oh, Billy, you didn't get permission from me, and take the video down. I don't want to deal with that, so I can't do it. The same reason I can't analyze K-pop lyrics or listen to K-pop songs live, because that could get copyright claimed. Yeah, 곱슬머리. Curly hair. Nastaria says, who can draw? Well, I know artists who can draw. The issue is just, or as they do in Korean, it's money, because I'd have to pay someone to do that. And if I pay someone to make me a comic and I read it in a live stream, it's going to cost, like, first of all, it'll be hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to commission a full webtoon. They're not like cheap. And then I would read it in a live stream and then it's done. Like, I mean, if I was like rich, I would commission a webtoon with myself and KeyCat in it. And we would be in Korea and doing things and teaching Korean and talking about Korea and stuff like that. I think it'd be fun, but I myself wouldn't be able to draw something like that. I think I could commission someone and like help write it and what things I want to teach, but it would be a very expensive thing. So it's only something I can do if I didn't care about selling copies or if I knew that this many people wanted to buy it in advance. Because yeah, art commission is something, I do it for all my books. I don't draw the art on the covers, I commission it, but it is a bit expensive each time I do that. M. June says, I'm planning a trip to Korea solo, but I'd like to find a tutor to practice conversation with me for a couple hours a day. Is there a place you'd recommend? Do you mean for a tutor or a place to visit in Korea? Fisho says, where do you find idol celebrity content? Everywhere. Me can. Say, I would love a Billy KeyCat webtoon. Yeah, I mean, I have lots of ideas. I have so many ideas. Every day when I come out of the shower, I'll like write, oh, I should do this someday. And I'll put a note. And sometimes it'll be a really short note, like one word or like one sentence. Other times I'll like write a full outline. Like I wrote a full outline yesterday. I just had a really quick idea for a new course. I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if I do a course like this. I just wrote like a whole, full outline for it really quick. So if I ever say something in my videos like, I've been working on this project for the past 3 years, that's really what it means. It means like 3 years ago, I had an idea and I started writing up. And then every once in a while, I'd have another idea and I'd add to it. I'd slowly add to it until it's like ready. And then I could say, hey, I've been working on it for the past few years. So I have like dozens and dozens of ideas for like courses, videos, projects that have been stewing for years, some even like over a decade that I haven't gotten around to because they're not big enough. They don't have enough content yet, but maybe someday. So that could be something else too. Like maybe someday we could get a KeyCat and Billy webtoon, but it's something that's already in the ideas list. So in fact, before I wrote Korean Reading Made Simple, I'll show you. This book, Korean Reading Made Simple 1. The original idea for this, no, actually I could even go farther back. The original idea for Korean Made Simple, which I published in 2014, was it to be a learning Korean with comics book. That was the original idea. So I've been thinking about this for now over 10 years for learning Korean with like webtoons and comics. So I kind of compromised when I made this one. I did get some artwork. There's some comics, but they're really short. There are only 3 short comics in here. And then the rest of it is different types of reading material. Like there's like journal entries, there's like business emails, there's short newspaper articles, social media posts, short story, like that sort of stuff is in these books. M. June, I mean, while in Korea. No, I mean, while you're in Korea, for a tutor. I can't recommend you a tutor because I don't know tutors in person that I could recommend. I've only done tutoring, like hired tutors for Korean once, where I did a project where I talked about like tutoring and I used italki for that. And I found 4 tutors through that. And 2 of them actually one of them was really weird. The others were nice. But I don't know if they still tutor anymore, if the other ones that I liked. And I've never met them, so I can't recommend them in Korea. So I can't give you recommendations for in-person tutors. But I would say if you're in Korea, don't spend your time hiring tutors if you're just going on a short trip. Do that stuff before you go to Korea, because being in person with the tutor is no different from talking online. But online, you could probably do like $10 for an hour for a cheap tutor and just do conversation practice and nothing else. You don't need to spend that precious time you have in Korea doing Korean tutoring. Do that before you go. Courtney Wiley says, Hello Talk. Yeah, there are a few apps for that. I don't think there's a great app for it though, unfortunately. Like all of the apps, Hello Talk, Tandem, those are the main ones. There's a couple others, but all of them, they're good. They have pros and cons. So sometimes I've had luck finding friends, Korean friends through them. Other times, nowadays, I feel like it's easier to make Korean friends just by doing like meetups in Korea, like actual like groups where you do people who have similar hobbies and you meet up and you hang out. And then maybe you make a friend in there. It's a little bit easier for me. Let's see. Mike E says, any tips for moving inactive vocab to active? So all the flashcards and words I recognize or know, but never come to mind while talking. Yes, Mikey. So I have the same issue as you, but my vocabulary words I'm trying to move from inactive to active are not on the same level as most people because they're not going to be like common words. They'll be really uncommon words like internal cranial bleeding or something like that. You know, like really specific, like medical words are some of the ones I'm trying to go through. But yeah, the solution is you expose yourself to more content that possibly could introduce you to those words. So if these are advanced words like medical something, you have to just expose yourself to medical literature or medical dramas, or else you're never going to see these words, or games that involve like something that's along those lines. But for more beginner intermediate stuff, which is actually common, you need to just expose yourself to more regular Korean speech. So vlogs. I would just watch more YouTube channels on the internet, more channels that are like, of course, all in Korean, but like more content, like more minutes, more number of minutes, longer vlogs of just people talking, or live streams. Because if it's a common word, like if it's a regular word, I'll say, you don't have to worry about running into that word. Like zebra, you're going to see that, or like giraffe or whatever, you're going to encounter kirin fairly frequently. Like maybe once every few weeks, you'll hear someone use the word kirin. You're going to get those words, even the ones that are less common like that, because they're regular words. But if it's like a really specific word, then you'd have to go out and look for that type of content. So I would just say more YouTube videos, more streamers, preferably you want to watch vlogs. That's what I would just do. But that's how you do it, is you move that inactive vocab by getting exposed to it a lot. And if you can use it yourself, if it's a word that you could use yourself, that's even better. But a lot of the words are words you might not find yourself using. So you just need to get exposed to them by listening to them a lot. Courtney says, I made 3 friends on Hello Talk. Just got to watch out for weird people. Yeah, I mean, it's not a thing about language exchange apps. It's just a thing about people in general. Sometimes people are the worst. Just dropped my tablet. So it's not specific to that app. It's just in general, anyone you meet online, just make sure that you are careful. There we go. Open the chat again. Someone says medical dramas. Okay. Yeah, I don't know any medical dramas in Korea. I've never watched any. Someone says Trauma Code, Ghost Doctor, Doctor Prisoner, Dr. Cha, Hospital Playlist. Lady Natbug says, working on my Photoshop skills. Take care, Lady Natbug. Fisho says, Billy, are there paper webtoons I can buy in Korea? Yes, every bookstore will have webtoons. Most likely they'll have webtoons that are print. Like the really popular ones are printed. Mikey says more input is key. Yeah. Although I'll say, while yes and no. So if you're someone who's already studying Korean, like you're doing the basic studying, you're learning vocab, you're still learning grammar and trying to practice, then yes, input is going to be the key. If you're not someone who does that, then no, input is eventually could work out, but you're going to be spending way more time than you have to. It's a slower way to learn like that. So don't only rely on it, but for someone like you, Mikey, who actually you're already studying Korean, then yes, you need to have tons and tons of input on top of what you're doing. That's the key. Elsa says, I recommend the channel Anda for those who would want to practice Korean listening, and her channel's based off makeup. Okay, a makeup YouTuber. Ayakata says, is this a correct phrase? 멀리서 보이는 꿈이긴 한데 정말 이룰 수 있게 되면 좋겠습니다. Sure. It's something that I see it from, I mean, grammatically, sure. I'm not exactly sure what it is they're trying to say. Mikey says, I'm 5 years in. That's fine. Like, if you're not living in Korea, 5 years is not that long. If you're living in Korea and you're using Korean all the time, then yeah, you could, I mean, theoretically, you could get conversational in Korean in less than a year if you're living in Korea and doing tons of practice every day. But most of the time it doesn't happen like that. So yeah, 5 years could be a long time or it could be a really short time depending on how you're learning. I mean, I still, on a regular basis, I still go out of my way and try to find new YouTube channels to watch for Korean practice, because I don't want to just watch a random YouTube channel if I'm not actually interested in it, because then it just feels like I'm doing this to practice and just to study my Korean, and it's boring. It's like, why do I want to watch this? I don't even like this. But if I keep finding, every once in a while, I'll find a new channel that's in Korean that is something I also enjoy watching anyway, and that's the best, when those two things meet. Something I would watch anyway, but it also happens to be in Korean. Then I can watch it and it never feels like I'm studying. It just feels like I'm watching, like, oh, just play the next video. Oh, hey, Mikey, thank you. 마이키님, 감사합니다. But yeah, and I mean, I've been going for now 20 years. So I've been learning Korean for 20 years now, and I'm still learning. I mean, there is no end to learning Korean. So just like there would be no end to speaking English, if that makes sense, like even me as a native English speaker, I don't know every English word, right? I don't know every English expression, every English idiom, every word. Like, you don't expect that. You just expect someone to be able to understand everything regular, right? Completely fluent, which is possible. Yeah, Ryul gives a suggestion. Ryul is a native speaker, Ayakata. So they didn't change your sentence that much. They just swapped 아마 and 이건. 이건 아마 멀리는 꿈이긴 한데 정말 이룰 수 있게 되면 좋겠습니다. I don't know what context you're using it in, but yeah, grammatically your sentence makes sense. Nastaria says, is there a Korean Grey's Anatomy? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know any medical dramas. Yeah, let me see if I missed any other comments. Some people are mentioning 트이다. Okay, I use that, but they don't add anything. They stopped updating it like years ago, right? I think like the last thing they posted was like 1 or 2 short videos in like 2022 or something like that. It's been a long time since they updated. So I don't know if they've stopped or if they recently have added anything. If anyone uses Twitter, let me know if they still update it. But I'd heard that like they had some videos years ago and then they stopped posting new ones. I'd hope they still make them. I just remember that the app didn't have that much content back when I first tried it. I'm just going to check the chat. Anyone have any Korean questions? You have 15 minutes left before I end the stream for today. Tuda is really good. It has Japanese. It has some Spanish now. Oh, I mean, for just for Korean, though. Yeah, they have several languages, but I can't analyze how it is for teaching Spanish. I can only tell you how it is for the Korean content. It just didn't have that many videos, so I hope that they add more. They got back to it. Did they add more? Okay. Elsa says, I don't know how, but I find it better for me to learn words and then learn like past, future, and present forms, and then it would be easier to put together verbs. Have you heard about like Taekyon? Is there an app called that or something? Has a lot of, oh yeah, but I'm only talking about Korean, not for all of its languages, just only for Korean. The other issue I had with it, which I hope that they've improved now, but when I first tried it, was it didn't actually recognize the correct pronunciation for stuff. So I was trying to use the app and it kept telling me I was saying things wrong because I was saying them how a Korean might say it, not how a learner might say it. And then when I slowed down my pronunciation and I would say it like intentionally bad, then it would let me pass. So I was trying it out to kind of see what it looked like. That was back in 2021, I think, that I tried it. And I'm hoping they improved it, but that's what I remember from it. But then they never asked me to review it again. Like they sent me a message asking if I'd review it, but I tried it. I told them I didn't really like it that much, but then they never replied back and never told me they fixed anything. So I'm hoping they did though. Because it seemed like it seemed really cool in theory. Like the concept of it, I really liked the concept of it. It just didn't work at the time. Courtney asks, are you going to do an updated video on using ChatGPT? Yeah, so I did a video, for those of you, if anyone watched it, I did a video back in 2023, I believe, about using, or was it 2022? It might have been 2022, about using ChatGPT for learning Korean. So in the video, I ask it several questions that I knew the answer to in advance about Korean, and it got some of them right and it got some of them wrong. And I talked about how it's useful, but that it's not useful if you don't know where it's wrong, because it's very confident when it makes mistakes. And if you ask it something like, hey, can you tell me the answer to this? It'll be very confident. It'll give you an answer and it'll be completely wrong. But if you're a beginner, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know it's wrong. You can ask like, hey, can you teach me a lesson about this topic? And it might give you a perfect lesson with examples and everything. Amazing. And then you'll ask it about a different topic and it gives you a completely wrong lesson, wrong examples, everything wrong. And they're both completely confident. So anyway, I was talking about that in the video. I say, do not use any sort of iteration of modern AI for learning Korean. It's a fun tool, but know that it is wrong just as much as it's right. So I didn't recommend it, but you're asking if I make an updated version right now. If I make an updated version, it's going to be literally the exact same thing. Because I've asked it again, as of a few months ago, I asked it to re-answer the questions that I did in the other video, and it still gets them wrong. In fact, yeah, it's better now than it was in 2022 or 2023 when I made that video. It's improved. It's smarter now, I should say. It makes fewer mistakes, but it still does the same exact types of mistakes, just a little less often. I wouldn't recommend it. If you're learning Korean, I would stay far away from AI for most purposes. Now, there are some applications where it's okay. Like, it's probably fine if you just want to do basic Korean conversation practice, because it's even if the sentence is unnatural that it gives you, it doesn't really matter because you're just practicing putting the sentences together. It doesn't really matter if what it told you is unnatural. But for anything beyond like that, I would be really careful. Sometimes when it teaches lessons, it'll misunderstand the form you're giving it. Like, make me an example lesson using this form, and it'll give you a different form that looks like it, but it's not the one you're asking. And you wouldn't know that unless you already knew the answer in the first place. So I have fun with it for helping me to make title suggestions for videos. Because I'm not very good with coming up with titles, although neither is ChatGPT, but I think it's better than me. But it's a creative tool, but it's not a information tool very much. So. Maybe, yeah, them not asking. Yeah, I get messages from companies every so often that ask me to review their product or make a video about their product. And I tell them like, hey, I don't do paid reviews. I've never done a paid review before, but I'll check out your product. And then I send them a reply back. I'm like, hey, I liked it, but I had some suggestions. This is what I didn't like, or this is the issue I had. They don't reply most of the time. I did have a couple people who do reply. Usually they don't reply. They They like, I want to reply like, hey, thanks for trying it out anyway. Thanks for your feedback. Sorry it didn't work out for you, but you know, have a nice day. Maybe we'll work together someday. Like that's what I'd want, but they just completely go silent, like as if I never existed. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not really not gonna review your product now. You don't even care about the mistakes in it. Oh, Nastaria. Nastaria says they sent a donation. Oh, wow. Thank you, Nastaria. Yeah, I just see that came in 3 minutes ago. Let me, hold on. Let me write that up and let me read your message. $15. Awesome. Thank you. You say, here's a quarter-of-the-hour donation. Thank you again for your ATs analysis series. I'm sorry that series is over. It was fun. I had fun. I wonder who I should do next. What group should I analyze next? I have an opinion on who it might be. Ultimately, I'm going to have my Patreon members give me the suggestions. And then once I get the final 4 suggestions, I'm going to bring those. I'm going to let people vote on that. Everyone will be able to vote on it. But Patreon members are going to get to pick which of the options are actually going to make it into a video. I feel like it might end up being Stray Kids because lately most people have been requesting new videos of Stray Kids. And I did Felix and Bangtan back years ago. That was one of my earlier K-pop analysis videos, but they want a video of all the members of Stray Kids. And I don't even know the other members of Stray Kids because I only focused on those 2 when I made their videos. So I could do a new series of them, like one video for each of the members, and then go into more detail than I did in those videos. I don't know. Or we get someone completely different. Who should I do next? M. June said, did you use a paid version? No, I did not use a paid version of Tuida. If you're talking about Tuida. I was talking about something else, though, when I was talking about before. "17 says Lexica. Elsa says Boy Next Door. M. June says an update on Felix. Yeah, that would be interesting. He was already getting there when I did the last video. He was already improving a lot. Mikey says, best thing in ChatGPT is projects. You can upload PDFs or the grammar you're working on or words you want to learn into the files. Yeah. That kind of stuff is really cool because it doesn't take intelligence so much to do things like OCR, like character recognition, right? From an image. Like, hey, take this PDF image, summarize it. Like that sort of stuff, it works really good. Mostly. Like it can make mistakes, but it's most of the time pretty good. Organizing things. I used it for giving me suggestions for how to organize the colors in an upcoming cheat sheet I made. So this is another cheat sheet that'll be coming out. Is all the colors. It doesn't look like all the colors, but it is. There's all the colors in Korean here. Each of them has like additional colors below it and the differences, and then there's like a guide at the bottom. But the problem is I made this entire cheat sheet. I put all the information into just a big line. Like it was just a big blurb of all the colors and all the information I wanted. And then I didn't know what order do you actually put the colors in? Like how do you organize colors? So I asked ChatGPT, hey, how can I organize colors? These are the colors I have. How would I organize them? And it gave me like 3 suggestions. It's like, well, you can do a color wheel organization in which it's like this or this organization. And I said, well, hey, this is how it works. I have a grid of 5 by 4 on the paper. What's the best way to organize them into a grid? So it made like, it drew a grid with text and it like put the colors in there. It's like, hey, these are the order for the colors. I didn't use exactly what it said, but it was like mostly I used that same order to make the order of these. And I really liked the suggestion it gave for that. So like that kind of thing is like creative uses are great. So yeah, it's a really fun tool, but it's still in the creative only use. Like if you're using it for something that could be done by a really creative person who doesn't speak any Korean, then it's great. Like I'll say it again, if your task can be done by someone who does not speak Korean, but is a genius and really creative, yeah, ChatGPT is totally what you can use to get some help with it. But if your project is something that needs to be done by a Korean teacher, don't bother. Like, the most creative person in the world is going to have mistakes when they're trying to teach Korean. Mama Moo, 17. Yeah, 17. I'm open to it. It would be 13 members, but I would do it. Someone says Mama Moo. That's right. Mama Moo is pretty popular. I know they had that Bakujongshik song, I believe. I think they did that song. Yeah, right? The food song. They just like some interesting songs, Mama Moo does. Oh, Flo. Flo, thank you. Flo sent a donation. Flo said, well, let me write this up here. Flo from Progressive says, just another thank you for all you do. Remember to use Progressive for all of your car insurance needs. That's a nice donation. I don't know why you added the message about the Progressive insurance, but I really appreciate your donation. Thanks, Flo. Someone says FT Island. Wow, that was a long time ago. Tulin says, as a beginner, I'm afraid of relying on ChatGPT because I remember it gave me 2 different sentences once and it got me so confused. Yeah, just please don't use it for learning Korean. If I can give any advice, like, all of the other stuff about learning is fine. If you ask it for like advice, like what should I do for this situation? How can I find more materials? It's great for that. But don't ask it the actual Korean questions. If you want to do really quick conversation practice, like simple conversation practice with it, it's fine because your sentences don't have to be perfect and neither do theirs. But don't ask it for like to teach you stuff because it, like I said, it doesn't actually, it's not thinking. It's just pulling what it grabbed on random blogs, random sources it has. And there's so much wrong information out there that I found. Like, most of the sources I find for teaching Korean that are like from random blogs and like random internet comments, the type of stuff that ChatGPT would have been trained on, most of it has a mistake or two. Like, I don't want to say everything because that's not quite fair. Sometimes sources are a little bit better, but most have a mistake or two, like major mistake in how it's teaching something or the examples it uses. And I know because whenever I prepare my lessons, after I write my lesson, I first, what I do is I write down all my notes of everything I already know about it. I'll write some example sentences. And then I always go on the internet and I have some books also, and I'll check other sources to find lessons on whatever topic that I'm preparing for that week, because I want to make sure I don't miss anything about it. Like sometimes I'll write the lesson, I'm like, oh, it's a really great lesson, Billy. And I'll check another source and it's like, oh, it's also used in this situation. I'm like, oh, that's right. So then I go back and I add in that to my lesson. I'll search several things, and most of the sources I come up with are just some random blogs. They're not like, websites that teach Korean, but they're just someone's like Tumblr post or something, or like a post to Hi Native, or just a random post on Reddit. Most of them will have some serious flaw for how they're teaching. Like they'll say, hey, here's this form and it's used with this, and it's actually not. It's not used with that. Or here's an example of a sentence and it's a really awkward sentence. And I know that because I teach Korean, but a learner wouldn't know that. So ChatGPT is trained on everything. And to a certain extent, it can know like, oh, everyone says this, but this one source says this. So this must be the wrong one. I won't teach that. But when everyone has a little bit of a wrong thing in it, like it's going to give you wrong stuff from time to time. So I just can't recommend it. If someday they actually figure out a way to get to AGI, so not AI, not artificial intelligence, but artificial general intelligence, then I'm going to quit. Not really, but that's when I'm going to tell you like, hey, just use AI for any questions you have. That's what I'm going to tell you, because it would, at that point, if it actually was intelligent, that's the point where it could replace me. And I don't have a problem with that. If it does a better job teaching, then learn from it. And I'll help. I'll give you I'll make videos about like ChatGPT prompts that you can use for learning Korean. I'm totally fine with that. But today's not the day. It's not ready for prime time. Mama Moo are hilarious. I would love to understand whatever silly phrases they say. Yeah, I've heard some stuff about them. I don't really know them. I just know a couple of their songs. But I've heard from fans that they're kind of goofy. Nistaria says, I had a question. Is there a time limit for practicing active listening without overloading your brain? When you do that for like several hours in as a beginner or intermediate learner, you get a headache. Totally fine. There's no limit. I would do that all day, every day, and I would get a headache like every day. It's not a problem. Just drink plenty of water, take some medicine if your headache gets really bad, rest, but no, it's totally fine. Keep doing it. Your brain will eventually adjust because it's like every single day you get a headache. You're eventually going to be like, okay, I'm tired of this headache. Let's just actually learn it. And it gets better and it gets easier and easier and easier. And when I first started this channel too, like if I were to go a whole day only doing Korean, I still would get a little bit of that. But nowadays it's gone. Nowadays I can do Korean full day, beginning morning to night, talk with a friend all day in Korean. The end of the day, totally fine. It does get easier. One of their nicknames is Hung Mamu. Oh, okay. Like energetic Mamu, I get it. Kat says PayPal. PayPal, do I check something? I did get something from Kat for the Eraser Fund. Hey, thanks. Thanks, Kat. I'll put it toward the Eraser Fund. Draw a little eraser here. I'm probably gonna order more erasers tonight. I usually would order them on Amazon. It would be like 24 of them for like $15, $20. So like less than $1 each. But I think I'll probably just buy them straight from China this time because they literally say Chinese. They have Chinese all over them. They're just the cheap ones from China. I think I'll just order them directly from China though. They'll probably be a little bit cheaper. And I go through these erasers like every 2 weeks. I'll have to replace it. So yeah, I'll do that. Thank you. The Eraser Fund. You've just funded probably like 10 erasers with that donation. Tulin says, I'm awful at learning vocab without context. Is it too dull for... You're not awful with learning vocab without context. Everyone is awful at learning vocab without context. If you can learn vocab without context, like actually internalize it, learn it, you're like some kind of genius. I can't do it. I need context to learn vocab. Except with some exceptions, like the names of the animals. You don't really need context to learn, like Kirin is giraffe. You can just learn it and you know what it is. But yeah, you're asking though, is it too dull for me? And it is too dull for me and it doesn't stick. But I'm also not advanced enough to actually understand any context. Is there a way to tackle this? Yes. It's called comprehensible input. Now there also is a YouTuber who does videos about that, but essentially it's just content that is a little bit above your level. They say in technical terms, they say N+1, which N is your level. So just a little bit above your level, not something way above, but a little bit above. And if you're a brand new beginner, everything is way above your level. So there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do as a new beginner is the content that's in your language book or your language lessons. Like I have a beginner course. That content is going to be the N+1. Like it's just a little bit hard to understand, even though it's not like native level, it's a little bit above. So after you finished my beginner course or any sort of beginner course, then re-ask that question to me again. Because at this point, if you haven't done that sort of thing yet, I would say that's what you need first. Once you've gotten the basics, like just the floor, the foundations down, you have the basic grammar that's there, then the N+1, that level is going to be something like vloggers on YouTube. Then you can go straight into listening to YouTube vlogs. Preferably though, you have to find someone who speaks kind of slowly. You don't want like someone who speaks dialect or really slangy. You want something that's really clear. So find someone who has the clearest voice you can find and listen to that. So I have some YouTubers that I recommended in a video I made a few months ago with like podcast recommendations or YouTube teacher recommendations who teach in Korean. That sort of stuff would be the N+1 for your level after you've first gotten the foundation. But before you have a foundation, don't bother wasting your time with that because it's fine to do it, but you're going to get so much more out of it if you have a floor to stand on to begin with. Zula says, I have trouble knowing how to pronounce double vowels. Yeah, I mean, so like something like, actually, let's not do that word because then it can come out like the Spanish swear word. So let's do, so like pa, 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 pa. And then the other word, pa. So pa, these strong consonants, all they are is just air plus the regular one. It's just extra air. So instead of saying pa, you say pa, pa, pa. It's just more air. So these are easy. I don't know anyone who says they struggle with strong consonants because they're literally just stronger versions of these. This is the one though most people struggle with because this is not more air. If anything, this is less air. This one you do not add extra air. So if there's a way you can test this, get a tissue. So not this piece of paper, but get a tissue paper and try saying pa, 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 pa. A little bit of air. You'll feel a little bit of air go out. And if it's a tissue paper, it'll move a little bit. If you say pa, pa, it'll move a lot. Ba does not move at all. You do not ba. When you say it, there's barely any air that comes out. Pa. You can feel it. Pa. You can feel the air. Pa. You can really feel it. Ba. 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 There might be a tiny bit, but you might not feel it. The way to practice that though is by not trying to say it one at a time. I mean, you could practice it with a tissue paper, but before that, before you've even gotten to the level where you understand how it even sounds. So let's say you can't even practice with tissue yet because you can't even make the sound at all. Say it after another sound to practice with. Don't practice it by itself, but practice it with a sound before it. So instead of practicing like ba, 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 I can't do it. Oh, it's so hard. Put a different sound before it. The word for father or dad is appa. Can you say appa? You probably can because you can hear how the sound like it cuts off and then goes to the next one. Appa. You can probably say appa even if you can't say ba by itself. Practice it in other words. So like put other sounds before it. This is not a word, kappa. That's not the word for kappa, but kappa. This is not a word. Papa though is, that's a conjugation of papuda to be busy. Papa. Papa. So if you say it after a word, and this goes for all those double consonants, if you practice it by sticking it after something, so like ka, ka. Put another sound before it though. Aka, aka, and then remove that sound and try to say it again. Ga, ga. That's the sound. And then you can test if you're saying it correctly. Ga, ga. Do you feel air on your hand? A tiny bit, you're doing it correctly. Or none, you're doing it correctly. But if you feel like a gust of air hitting your hand or a tissue paper, if you see it moving, then you're doing it wrong. So you'll get better at this though. Like don't stress about it. You're never going to say it perfectly until you've had tons of practice. But if you can at least do that, you're good. Don't stress about saying it perfectly. You'll get better at it by hearing it a lot. Yeah, it's added tension, but because we don't really do that consciously in English, there are some words where we do, but most of the time we don't really do that. At least we never do it consciously. So you have to kind of get used to doing something that you don't do on purpose in English. M. June says, "Uy is my mortal enemy." Well, uy, uy, uy. It's literally just the two vowels, one after another. E. E, e. That's it. E. Like that. It's it. And when it's used after a noun, so it's used like the apostrophe S, the possessive marker, you just say it as a. You don't even have to say uy. You could. You can say like Billy uy tek, Billy's book. But it's more common to say Billy a. 빌리의 책, Billy's book. And all of the diphthongs are the same. Every single diphthong is one syllable after the other, said quickly. So like wa is just ooh, ah, wa, 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 wa. That's it. Every single one. Yeah, 달, 딸, 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 딸. Put your hand in front of your mouth. 딸. Do you feel the air? 딸. You shouldn't. At least it should be like barely. Whereas 달 is moon. 달, you'll feel the air. 달, 딸, you won't really feel it. And if you practice by putting something before it, any sound doesn't have to be a real word. Let's just put like 파, 달, 달, like that. It's not a word, but just stick something in front of it, which will help your brain to hear how you're making it. Yeah, because Zula says, is he pronounced like he? No, it's pronounced as he. Any of those, and there aren't very many that you need to know. Really, the only one you need to know is he. So normally, right? But if you put another sound here, it's just pronounced as e. So this is pronounced as he. You could say he, but no one does. Say it like this. He. And there are other words that do that as well. But none that you need to know. I mean, other syllables that would do the same thing. But yeah, that's it. Actually, there is one more. Sorry, not this. But... 씌우다. This is the causative version of to wear, like to put something on, to put something over someone's head. It has the but it's not 씌우다, it's 씌우다 is how you pronounce it. So there is another case where you see that becoming e. Anytime it's this consonant, that's the only time you pronounce it as is. If it's any other consonant, any consonant here with it's always just pronounced as e. And there are a few others that will do that too. Like I've seen it in some older words, like some old Korean words can have that too. But most of the time, you don't really have to worry about that. Zula says, my Korean tutor said that he is pronounced as 회. Oh no, you're talking about the word 회, not 의, but 오이. This one. So this word, this is 회. 회 is basically like raw fish, so it's like sashimi. But in Japanese style sashimi, you eat it by like dipping it in wasabi and soy sauce and, eating it with rice. Korean 회 is commonly just eaten. It's little shredded pieces of sashimi, and you just eat it by dipping it in kind of like red pepper paste sauce, like 초고추장, kind of like a sweet, spicy red pepper paste, or in soy sauce directly. But it's not like the Japanese style. Anyway, that probably you're talking about the word 회, because this word could never be pronounced as hui or anything like how you wrote it in romanization. So they're probably talking about this word. If they were talking about this and they said it's pronounced as hui, that's wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. But I think they meant this. Assuming that your Korean teacher is Korean, then yeah, I'm sure they would have been talking about the first one, not the second one. The one asks, is 결심하다 and 결정하다 interchangeable? Nope. 결심하다 is to make up your mind, to decide. Like you've resigned yourself to. I'm not trying to think of another word. There's a better translation for it. 결정하다 is simply to make a decision. Oh yeah, 결심하다 is to determine. That's the word I was trying to think of. To resolve to do something. Like I made up my mind to do something. Essentially, it's like 마음 먹다, to make up your mind to do something. Whereas 결정 is just to make a decision. So 결심 is like you're deciding to do something, whereas 결정 is just deciding. And the difference is because 결심, to help you remember, 심 is the 한자 for heart. So essentially 마음, to make up your mind. 결 is deciding one, to like make. So that's where you get it. And tong is the word for set, to like set something. So that's just to make a decision. 결정, any sort of decision. Yeah, Zula, they would have just been talking about hey. They would not say he is pronounced as hui or something like that. The common word, the most common word where he is used is in himang, meaning hope, but it's spelled like that. Hui, huimang. I mean, you could pronounce it as hui, but I've never once heard that before. It's he. And it should also say that if you ever want to check the pronunciation, Naver Dictionary also has pronunciation for every single word. Sometimes there are multiple pronunciations for certain diphthongs. It'll have both. It'll always have all the correct pronunciations for a word. Okay, I think that's good for today. Literally, Joker from Persona 5 says, can Billy say 조커 in Korean? Although, I'm trying to think the word that they use. They might just use literally like what I said, 조커, but they might have a different word for the character in Persona. I don't know. Let me check if there's a different word for Joker from Persona 5. No, it is just same. 조커. Yeah. That's it. It's just this. 조커. Sorry, I thought there'd be something cooler, but there's not. But Joker's cool, huh? Right? Okay. Nice nephew. Yeah, 조카 is nephew. Similar, different word though. But yeah. Niece. Yes. So you're thinking of yeah, it looks similar. So this is Joker, like the movie Joker, and then 조카, which is like niece or nephew. Different pronunciation. 조카, call, ka. Like drive a car. You drive a car to go pick up your niece or nephew. Okay, that's good enough for today. I'll end the live stream there unless there are any last minute questions. Thank you so much to everyone who's been watching, everyone who supported my stream, especially to Kai Blamerin, who's our producer today. Blamerin, if you're out there, thank you again. Lexica, Flo from Progressive, Mikey, Nastaria, and Kat for the donation toward my eraser fund. Got to order some new ones today. That way they can arrive a month from now, and half of them will be broken and the wrong size, because I'll get them probably from AliExpress, and that sort of thing happens a lot on AliExpress. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.